group of people from Orostimba tonight, and if I'm sure there's one person in your group that would like to go up to the podium and state your name and address for the record and briefly tell us what you're here for. It must be a class assignment, right? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah.
Stand out.
Yeah.
Right over there, right next to the police
And
chief.
not only that, this is being videoed, so you can watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, you can watch it tomorrow on the website.
State my name, and then
Your address.
Name and address.
address.
Yeah.
You can use the school.
Yeah, you can use
Yeah,
the
use
school's
the
address.
All right, so my name is Alexander Diaz. I'm from OHS, Orostimba High School, and we're here for a project on government, and we're here to observe you guys, see how it works, and then I live in Kozani.
Very good.
Very
good. Well, welcome, guys.
We're
Welcome.
Yeah, we welcome you.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it's going to be a very exciting meeting, but welcome.
I explained to him a little earlier before the meeting that we rarely have a lot of people out there, so it's good to see faces and the smiling faces at that.
So you know what that means, right? A star is born.
There you go. And with that, is there anyone else who would like to speak at the council this time? Please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me back again. My name is Sophia Petrakis and I am the Library Branch Supervisor over on 1305 Kern Street. Just want to give some highlights for a very exciting month of September. We are back into Storytime full blast every Wednesday at 10 with a stay and play at 10:30. And today, I don't know if you noticed, I am dressed much more casually than normal. We had a Harry Potter event. So we had a little potions class, we had different activities for the kids, pin the nose on Voldemort, and we had 131 people show up today.
Fantastic.
That beat our slime from a couple months ago where we had 105. So we're doing good. Harry
great.
Potter is bringing our community together. And we also had a adult program. We made some succulent terrariums. We got some little containers and a whole bunch of us got together and designed our own different one, and that turned out nice. That's good for us grown-ups to do a little something. And then we still have one story time left for the month, and we also have a family craft, paper mache owls. Then for next month, we have just as much going on. Our normal story time is continuing Wednesdays. And our Friends of the Library meeting. Our friends help support all the programs we do at the library, like the Harry Potter event we had today. And so they meet first Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. We have the teen Wii game with pizza. So if you guys want to make it. So we'll just have different Wii games set up, and then we'll have some board games while you're waiting for your turn. And then for Halloween, since it's that time of year again, we're going to be doing Silly Monsters and Lollipop Ghost on Tuesday the 23rd of October from 3:30 to 4:30. We're going to try another slime program with sign-ups this time, since last time got a little crazy and chaotic in our little library. So advanced sign-ups for glow-in-the-dark slime on October 30th. We're going to do another STEAM project on Saturday, October 27th at 2 p.m. and it's called Hoop Genius. So we're going to learn about the velocity and temperature of balls when they're dropped, and then see how they slowly lose velocity and don't bounce as high. So that'll be a nice fun one, and I'm expecting to learn a lot myself. And then on Saturday, October 13th, we are going to have a guest visitor. Python Ron is going to visit us at 1 p.m. and bring lizards, snakes, reptiles of all sorts, and even a tarantula. So that'll be nice and scary. And I think that's everything we have right now. Thank you.
I like to say is this is, I guess, a really exciting time for you and great time, you know, for the library because we're seeing some things done that we have not seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And for the parents that are participating is incredible. And I have 2 grandkids, man, that they get so excited when they know that they're going to the library.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That is really great. And I really take my hat off to you for doing
Thank
a
you.
wonderful job.
It's really great how people come together, the community comes together at the library. It just, it makes me very happy to come to work every day.
Yeah. Good. Great. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much. And with that, I'll ask, is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak to the council at this time? If not, we're going to move on to item 8, which is the consent calendar. A, waive all readings of ordinance and resolutions except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of September 11th, 2018 meeting.
I'll make a motion, we accept the consent calendar as written.
I'll second.
Okay, motion is made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. 9 is a public hearing. A, adopt resolution number 2018, next number, a resolution amending the conflict of interest code for designated positions and rescinding resolution number 2014-55 and authorizing the city manager to sign the 2018 local agency binary notice indicating that an amendment is required.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. In order to comply with the State Political Reform Act, the city must review its local conflict of interest code biannually to determine if it's accurate or needs amending. The positions of mayor, council member, city manager, city attorney, city treasurer, and planning commission are not included in the local code because they are already required to report their economic interests per government code section 87200. After review of the code, the city's existing code, staff has determined that said code needs to be updated in order to comply with state law. The positions of deputy city clerk, recreation coordinator, and recreation coordinator are recommended for removal, and it is recommended that the positions of city clerk, recreation director, and community liaison be added. Tonight, staff recommends that the council conduct a public hearing, adopt the resolution amending the code and rescinding resolution 2014-55, and then authorize the city manager to sign the 2018 biannual notice. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Being no questions, this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open it up for any comments from the public at this time. There being none, I bring it back to the council for direction.
I move that we adopt resolution next number 2018, a resolution amending the conflict of interest code for designated positions and rescinding resolution number 2014-55 and authorize the city manager to sign the 2018 local agency biannual notice indicating that an amendment is required.
And I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. 10, regular business. There was none tonight. So we're going to move on to item 11, item from District 5, Stanislaus County Supervisor, Mr. Jim D. Martini. Welcome, Jim. Mr. D. Martini, I want you to know something. That supervisor goes to as many meetings as he possibly can. So when he talks about things, he understands what's going on in our county. So listen very closely to what he has.
Actually, going off of what the mayor just said, he's a Stanislaus County District 5 County Supervisor, so he covers our area for the county. But he even goes down to Gustine's meetings, which Gustine's in Merced, but he tries to pull them in and make them, and involves them in a lot of programs that the West Side is involved in. So it's kind of nice to reach out to our neighbors like that. So he's a very good District 5 county supervisor.
So we gave him a title. He's called the hardest working man in Stanislaus County.
Well, thank you for those kind words. I just love Newman's. So, everything you do here is just cut above everybody else. I don't have too much of a report for you tonight. As I told you the last time, the West Side Healthcare Task Force is doing its first senior program in Patterson on the 27th, which is Thursday. It starts at 11 o'clock. This is a for senior abuse, either financial, physical abuse. So we have actually a nice program. Task Force usually does, health and fitness type of programs, but this is more like what we consider, say, mental health. So lunch is free. We pick that up, and it's at the Hammond Senior Center, 11 o'clock Thursday. So, and in other news in the task force, we are, moving along with the art and essay contest, so that's going on now. I made presentations, Justine, Newman, Patterson, and so we will judge those entries on November 2nd in City Hall in Justine. So, as you said, Mr. Graham, that the West Side has similar issues. So Justine, to me, is just part of the West Side, always has been. Their issues are the same as everybody else's. We have a kind of an isolated area here that has all the same problems. So we try and address those, at least in the health and fitness aspect of it. So I do have a briefing coming up on Friday on the Crow's Landing Air Base. Hopefully, get that project off the ground before I go into a nursing home. It's been a long struggle there. We got off on the wrong foot about 10 years ago, and we've just never been able to hardly recover from that. But I am told we're pretty much done with the EIR now. So we'll see what the briefing says on Friday. Otherwise, I think that's about it. Watch the water board. They're going to try and steal all the water. Surprisingly, they're having their vote on whether or not they're going to steal all the water on the day after the election. So November 7th. So just so everybody knows, when they had the public hearing on this, they did it during Christmas week. Just after Christmas there, because I guess they wanted a lot of attendance and people there. And they got it anyway, even though they weren't expecting it. And then they did release their report on the day after the legislature went out on recess. So, nothing could be taken up there. So not surprising that the vote is going to be the day after the election. So things they have never responded to the 35 different scientific studies, never have addressed the accreditation of non-native species eating the salmon, or any of the other studies that the Turlock, Modesto, and Oakville irrigation districts have done. So anyway, I just wonder how they're going to vote. So. But anyway, okay, watch that. There's not really a lot going on in the county, and most of our focus is on what we're going to do with the homeless problem. Surprisingly, the more money we throw at the problem, the worse the problem gets. So I think I'm trying to show there's a correlation between the two, but nobody's listening to me yet. Anyway, we'll keep working on it. I'll let you know if developments take place. Hopefully when I come back the next time, it will be some more solid news on the airbase.
I have a quick question on that. You said 10 years ago, as we were consultants, a different group was consultants for that. Had we been able to be the lead on that, maybe from here, we would probably have that project up and gone. Moving on.
Everything went wrong on that project. It could go wrong. We had the lawsuits. The developer lost his financing. The project, the Patterson sued over it, and then the whole thing went away after languishing for 4 or 5 years without an environmental impact report. So the county's finally picked up the environmental impact report, and I think we spent close to $2 million on it. This is California, so it takes longer to do the environmental impact report than to build the project, and a lot of the things that we do.
Jim,
So-
could you take just like 2 minutes for the young people here and explain to them what the Crow's Landing project is going to be?
Sure, be glad
Just
to.
a 2-minute briefing.
Okay, well, I know a lot about this. Crow's Landing Air Base is a military base. It's called the BRAC closure. And I don't know what the BRAC means, but it's a military base that's been closed. It was a Navy base that was used for aircraft practice. It was built in the Second World War and then used by NASA in the later years. The federal government abandoned the base. They said they didn't need it anymore. And eventually they gave it to the county. And so the county's vision for the air base, which is 1,100 acres, plus 2 runways, was to build an industrial park for jobs and economic development for the people in this area. And not for the people in the Bay Area, for the people here, because we have a lot of our workforce that lives here, especially on the west side, goes to the Bay Area to work. So we wanted to build a project that would employ those people so they wouldn't have to commute to the Bay Area. We look for good paying jobs and industrial type jobs. Similar to what Patterson has done with their Keystone project. Only the only difference probably in this industrial park, it will utilize the runways. So it will have aircraft. We don't know how that'll work out, but we'll make it a general aviation airport. And have, there's about 800 acres of buildable ground roughly to get the project going. County has committed a minimum of $20 million to get the project started. And that is because there's no electricity, there's no sewer system, there's no roads. I mean, there's an abandoned base, there's the land in the runways, so we want $20 million. Sounds like a lot, but it's just going to get the ball started. And probably will take $30 million, and my guess is to actually get it up to the point where somebody can move in and actually build something. So we look at this as economic development for the west side. And this is a project that is only on the footprint of the air base, nothing more, and it does not utilize rail. It's a county project. So that's the basics of it there. And we've been working on this thing for years. But I think we're finally ready to move forward, and we do have the money to develop it, so we will go forward soon. It's just in California, is a mountain of paperwork as you consider every aspect of the project, and endangered species, there's road noise, traffic, impacts upon agriculture, a lot of things that have to be considered in the report to what the impacts of the project will be. Because this is a fair-sized project.
May I add, is that when this project was basically thought of and it came to the blueprint and the study, is that the whole concept of this was to create something like 14, 15, maybe 20,000 jobs for the county. And we were looking at the west side in terms of the impact of it, that we wanted to make sure that the west side was able to take advantage of the jobs that were going to be created out there. And I'm hoping, not hoping, but I know that once this project comes up off the ground, that there's many jobs that's going to be created, and we're hoping that our west side take advantage of this to where you're basically able to build your families and be able to stay here instead of commuting up out of the valley. It's a tremendous project. Once again,
So we're moving on with the environmental impact report, which I'm told is pretty much done. I would say that the city of Patterson has delayed this project for more than a year with a list of things that they wanted us to relook at. including aircraft landing that hit hawks. So I don't know how we're going to respond to that. We've had all kinds of unusual types of studies being requested of us, which we have done. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much, Jim. With that, we're going to move on to item 12, item from the city manager and staff.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Just a couple housekeeping items tonight. This weekend we'll meet the halfway point for soccer. So as you know, our rec soccer program, which has 400 kids and I think over 30 teams this year. It's a very robust program. As you guys know, you were out there and saw it on week one. A lot of people out there. So we meet the halfway point this year, and we'll conclude at the last Saturday of October. Coming up soon, October 8th through the 13th, is a citywide cleanup and dump. So I'll also repeat that, but we'll have our next meeting on the 9th. I just want to give you a heads up that that's coming forward so you can prepare for that. Also, the other event that's coming up, and that'll be at the end of October, will be Trunk or Treat. That'll be downtown. That's an event that you approved, I think, in August. So we're getting ready for that. City, we plan to participate as a department, and we haven't figured out where that's going to fall at yet. So we'll get more information to you at your next meeting on how that's going to work. And then lastly, just good news. We anticipate in mid-October we'll have a new planner on staff. The planner is going through a medical and background right now. We anticipate that will probably be cleaned up this week. And then he had some family things that were already scheduled, so we're going to go ahead and start him, I believe, on October 16th with everything going on there. So, at this point, we haven't really worked out how many times he'll be coming before you, but we'll work that out and see what he does. I can answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions? Thank you, Michael. Chief, anything for us tonight?
Yeah, I just want to invite everyone out to the community block party, which will be this Friday at the Family Resource Center. The police department will be there along with many other departments within the city. I believe the fire department is going to show off their pretty fire truck. But we'll actually be working and doing barbecuing hot dogs. So if you want to come eat, enjoy a hot dog, we'll be out there for you. It's between 2 and 5 at the Family Resource Center, 1300 Patchett Drive. That's all I have. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Catherine, good evening.
Good evening. I just wanted to let everyone know that we're wrapping up the punch list items on our road project, and we shall bring you a notice of completion probably at the next meeting. They had a few punch list items, but they've quickly taken care of them. We will also attend the block party tomorrow. Public Works and Recreation will share a booth, and we'll just give fire and PD a hard time. And the guys are cleaning the Sherman ditch. They've already spent a couple days in it, and they'll be back in removing the mud and weeds, and we're going to remove some more trees, and so that's an ongoing thing that I hope to get a couple days a week until it's done again, and then we're going to try some new stuff there once we get it clean. So hopefully you'll see some improvements over there. That's all I got, but I'm available for questions if you have any.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
One is that, is there a second phase to this road project? Or is this just one phase and there were certain streets that were going to be done and never been? Is there another phase to it?
Yeah, so what we did is, with this one, we did about 4 to 5 years worth of funding. We don't know exactly how many years because the funding will vary depending on month and year. As people spend more, we'll pay that off faster. But at this point, we're anticipating our next project will be around 2021, and then that'll be the next phase. But it's just at 1.4 million, we were only getting 300,000 a year, so you can see it takes a while to catch up. So we're always going to be doing the project up front and then paying it back, as opposed to collecting all the money and then spending it. So we're always going to be catching up financially and borrowing the money from us. So to answer your question, you can anticipate the second phase being in 2021. right around that time.
By that, is there other streets that are basically looked at in terms of being in that second phase?
Yeah, so I guess I could probably add a little bit more to it. In November, if SB 1 survives the vote, then we have another project that'll take place in the Central Residential District, the letter streets and T Street and Kern. So we'll be doing a project over there if it survives. If it doesn't, we'll have to scale it back, and we're not sure how far we're going to be able to get the dollars to stretch. So there's two funding sources there. There's the SB1, and with SB1, if it survives again, about every second year we'll be doing projects. And then with Measure L, which is a local one, and that's a 25-year one, we anticipate every 4 to 5 years we're going to do a big project. So, but before we do the next phase, which would be phase 2 of the Measure L, we'll come back to you with what the limits of that project will be. At this point in time, what we're anticipating that project to be would be Inyo, Canal School, and maybe L Street, depending on how much money we have and everything we go over there. And the reason we're doing that is we have some grant funds to improve the intersection at Canal School and Inyo. We're also engineering and putting some water, sewer, and storm drainage lines in Inyo. And then at that point, then we'll come back and put a nice clean surface up on top.
And I would just add to that we do have a couple small projects on the horizon within this fiscal year and the next, which is replacement of sidewalks on Q Street, which is funded by CDBG funds. Also improvements at Klein Park, which is also CDBG funds. We have 2 CMAQ projects, which will be bid together to kind of complete the transportation project that we just did by putting in all the bike lanes on Merced and Hills Ferry. And so those projects are going to occur in the next fiscal year, within the next fiscal year.
And Main Street, what year was Main Street?
Main Street is, I think, under design this year, and then I don't know what year the construction is, so I don't want to give you a false year.
We're going to do an overlay on Main Street, like 2 to 3 blocks of Main Street. I don't know exactly how many. Catherine may know, but we can update you at your next meeting. If you like, we can probably put this on a map for you guys, and we'll do a little presentation in our staff discussions at your next meeting.
Anything tonight, Gordon?
It's hard being the popular kid. They pick on you a lot. But we will be at Community Block Party. Come on down, see your guys' fancy red fire engine. We'll talk about fire safety, smoke alarms, all that fun stuff. So we look forward to seeing the community out there. Also, I'm proud to announce that we're going to be one of the first cities on the west side to get a Lucas device on our fire apparatus. The whole west side will be getting them. Actually, the whole county will be getting them. It was approved through the Board of Supervisors. And this is a mechanical CPR device, so we put it on, and it saves us, saves the firefighters' backs and all that. And then it also helps when you're going to move the patient, it constantly does CPR. So you guys will see this device out and about. We've been training on it for probably the last week or so. So we just got it. So we're proud to announce that. Also Wednesday, the blood drive will be here. So if you guys want to come down to the fire station, we'll be doing the blood drive. And then Fire Prevention Week will be the 8th through the 12th of October. So we'll be visiting all the local elementary schools. And I'll remind you guys again when we have that meeting, but just want to let you know ahead of time. And I can answer any questions you guys may have.
Since we got some young girls here and boys, could you tell them about your babysitting program that you guys offer?
Okay.
Educating them on that since they're high school age, and it might help them out.
Sure. We offer a couple different community programs. One of the ones that your council member is talking about is our Safe Sitter program. This is a program that we sponsor with the Newman Ladies Auxiliary. It's approximately 6-hour program. We host it normally once a year in June, just after school gets out, and it's a clinic that helps the young teen learn how to manage a babysitting job. So you could become a independent babysitter, teach you how to deal with finances, teach you how to answer phone calls, what to do in an emergency, and we also teach CPR. So that's one of the programs. And then we do offer, probably every 2 months or so, we offer a CPR class, free CPR class, which teaches basic CPR, AED. So You guys are always welcome. Just keep an eye out. I normally send it to Miss Luna. Is that her name out there? I normally send it to someone out there at the, I forget her name. Maybe it's not her. But anyways, I send it to you guys' high school. So just look for it on your board. I guess you guys have a board out there or something.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Casey?
I got nothing. Welcome and thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, and I guess maybe, Michael, you might be able to answer this for me. There is and I guess you might, I'm not sure what the young man or the gentleman's name, he's a commissioner. And he seen me and basically had a complaint that he's been written up a couple of times about having trash on the street. And that basically just recently someone dumped trash, you know, some tree trash in front of his house, and that I guess they was fixing to give him a citation. And he explained to me that the trash that I guess the police officer wanted him to pick up was for somebody's palm trees, and he doesn't have palm trees. And so he's saying that basically when people dump stuff in front of his house, he should not be, you know, given a citation. So I thought, you know, and I mentioned to him that maybe I bring this up and see how does that work. Because if someone's dumping something in front of his house, and he should not be responsible for picking that up.
It's been fully investigated, and don't believe everything you hear. I don't really want to get into that personal matter with that commissioner, about that commissioner, but it's been fully investigated, and while we picked it up this time, if he does it again, he will be cited. And that's just, we know who it is. And so, you're not getting the full story. If you'd like, after this meeting, we can talk about the full story.
Because he basically, he just showed me that there were some palm trees that his wife had to pick up and put in the garbage. And he's saying that, you know, look at
Our code enforcement is fully aware of the situation. It's been fully investigated. So, like I said, because it's a personal matter, we're happy to talk to you after this meeting and share with you what we know.
I think it's important that when we as council members or the mayor or city staff receive information, we don't bring it to this council or to this forum. We present it to the city manager or we present it to the appropriate departments. I think that's a much better approach because this is a personal matter, not something for the public. So I think it would be more appropriate when we find out things, because we do. We find out things from people all the time that they're concerned about things. Let's bring it to our city manager. Let's bring it to our public works director. Let's bring it to our appropriate personnel, police department, fire department if necessary. But let's not bring it to a public forum.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. But you know, like I said, these are people that are residents of this community, and there's
that's fine. I understand that very well. I understand that very well.
I'll keep that in mind. What you're talking about.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's not a public forum issue.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. Like I said. Nothing else.
Thank you. Nick, you have anything?
Kids, thanks for coming down tonight. Appreciate it. I was just reminiscing about when my daughter was about your age and was here too. I just became a city councilman too. Good luck to you.
Again, we're glad to have you guys here, and hope you weren't bored to death. But remember, come up and have one of the council members sign off on your agenda so you can take it back to your teacher. That's all I have.
Well, we greatly appreciate you coming tonight. It makes a big difference when we see your smiling faces out there. And please tell all your friends, make sure they come, and they can find out what's going on in the city. You know, I'd like to see more people get involved in politics so they understand what's going on in the world. You know, so often you talk to young people and they really don't care, but you really should, because it's important that you know what's going on, and vote. When you get to an age that you can vote, you can make a great decision. So with that, thank you so much for coming. And with that, I'm going to ask for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we are adjourned.